What's up, everybody at home? Welcome to another mega episode of Izinja zeGame, proudly brought to you by MTN FC. Now, before we get to our guest, April is a Testicular Cancer Awareness Month, and Kaizer and Testicular have teamed up to help raise awareness in breaking the stigma about checking your package. What we want you listeners and viewers at home to do just for 10 minutes a month, 10 minutes a month is just to check that package. And remember, a simple checkup can save your life. My guest right here, I got to play with him, when I was still at Chiefs. He represented, Kaizer Chiefs a few times. Remember that Chiefs that used to be solid at the back, solid in the midfield, a bit of flair in the midfield, and razor sharp finishing up front. This is the guy that's sitting next to me. He won a lot of trophies with that generation, ended up moving from Kaizer Chiefs, went to Morocco Swallows. From Morocco Swallows, I think Supersport saw him and saw the talent that I used to see when I used to train with him. Supersport gave him a chance to be part of that journey as well. And not only that, we hardly hear the type of nickname that he's got. He's got the most unique nickname. Some of us never got those nicknames. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. DVD David Mathebula. Shabu rantonas Ukraine.
Mnat JD. Thank you man.
So kuntla ntse ke sokola vela ka di intro tsa hao vele. I hope ku ketse grande ka intro ele yaka.
No. You mnat. I'm happy. And thanks for having me.
Can you do this?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's challenging. We try. I can try.
It looks easier. Like as I'm sitting at home, I'm thinking that I can be a coach like you. Probably everybody thinks that they can do what you're doing out there.
True.
Yeah.
But obviously, Ronaldo wanted the final product, so we don't see the behind-the-scenes stuff. But it's a bit challenging.
But how's that been going, Fana, for you? Working with the youngsters and giving back. Obviously, I never saw you as a coach because you hardly spoke a lot on the field every time we played with you. What made you, what made you want to be a coach?
I think towards the end of my career, I felt like we not coached well. Yeah. So also I was a bit analyzing in terms of how the coaches treat the players and how the casting coaches also treat the players. So I think I could do better in terms of training the kids and getting the best out of them. So that was the main thing. So try to get the best out of the players.
I've seen a lot of people that played the game with us, and they would I would think that because they went through the struggle, they were coached wrong, they were treated badly, and they end up being coaches. But how they treat the players, bro, it's crazy. What makes the people to do that? What change would you? I know it's easier said than done when you're out there now being a coach and you have to make those decisions.
Yeah, it's challenging and it's disappointing when you see maybe former players not treating players well because we know how difficult the game is. But I try my best. I try to be calm. I try to give the platform to the player to showcase his talent without me disturbing or interfering in his game. I have the whole week to prepare the player.
Yeah.
So when we play games, it's all about me observing, helping here and there, take information, and then we'll go back and work again so that you become a better player. I don't want to disturb the player. I don't want the player making a mistake and look at the bench. No. So I want to give them the freedom of playing the game for 90 minutes without any disturbance.
It must be difficult playing against a coach like you. You hardly made anything wrong on the field. And I could imagine, as a coach, I see a youngster just losing a ball a lot of times, making wrong decisions, which is something that you never used to do. How is that not difficult for you, to come up and you see this boy making mistakes week in, week out, that you know that you never used to do that? It must be a difficult type of job to have.
Yeah, it's very challenging because it's frustrating at times. And it's an emotional sport, but you need to know how to manage your emotions so that the boys can be able to learn in a good way. It's frustrating. Frustrating as it may, I try my best to be calm so that when they see my calmness, they are able to impose their game in the field of play. Because we play under a lot of coaches and they were reacting all the time when we make mistakes because of frustration. And it's more especially playing at the professional level. So I try to avoid that as much as I can.
Yeah.
I try even not to talk to the opposition coaches when they say something which is very provoking, and then I try to avoid that. I try to even avoid the referees when they go against us at times.
It's always been you.
I want to perform, and I want my players to perform. So we focus on ourselves. I believe we can control everything in football.
But how does this work? Do you scout your own players? Or I know Chiefs is a big engine, right?
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of calls every day, or do you get a lot of parents bringing their kids at the clubhouse, wanting them to try their kids, or saying, "No, my son is good." Like, once you start, giving them a chance, you see that I am mobile. So how does the process go?
It's difficult. Obviously, as a club, we're trying to improve the scouting department. But everyone has got the best player. Everyone wants to bring the best player. And everyone is saying, I've got a good player because they've seen him somewhere. But that's an elite academy, so we can't allow everyone to come in. Sometimes we ask our scout to go out and see the player because we don't want to bring players week in, week out, and then you find that they're taking the training down. So let's say I'm coaching the under-19 now. I've got 20 boys. I need to focus on helping those boys. And if we bring a lot of players who are not good enough, it means the training will go down and affect the boys that we have. So, but we're still trying to figure out a better way to look at the players outside, but not disturbing the ones that we have at the moment. But we have a lot of calls every day from obviously legends of the game and scout outside, coaches from outside. They say they want to bring their best players, but it's not possible.
So you don't even get, let's say, there might be that odd one that just take his last money, and from KZN, or let's say from Limpopo, and he's like, I'm just going to Chiefs. And you don't know if this person has traveled for 2 days just to come and get a chance. And he gets to the gate, he's like, Coach, I'm 18. Can I just get a chance to train with you guys? Do you ever in that situation, how would you react?
It does happen, and sometimes we try to say, okay, because you're here now, let us give you an opportunity and see. Because we look at the effort where you come from. You come from KZN. But we're not gonna do that every day.
Time,
But we try to find a way of helping the people out there because we need them. I'm not able to see a player in Limpopo. Someone is there, and if he says there's a player, I try to arrange with him. Okay, he can come. Maybe during school holidays,
I see.
But with our academy, let's say we only allow 3 players to come for a week. So you have 12 players who will come in a month. So in 10 months, it means you have 120. You've seen 120 players. But based on our experience, we've seen that those who come from outside, in terms of fitness, they're not at the right level. Confidence-wise, the place is intimidating as well. We try to help them. And most, they struggle. So we're trying to find a way where our scout can go out there, watch games where they are comfortable, and then say, okay, I've seen JD, I've seen him doing 1, 2, 3. You understand? So it means it's all about us giving him time to settle. But if you give you 3 days, it's not enough. But we don't have time.
But I know, obviously, a lot of kids, they always think that you give them 7 days to come and trial. Be honest as a coach. Do I really need 7 days, or is the first day really important?
Yeah, the first day is important. But if we try to be fair, how we train players at Kaizer Chiefs and how they train players from Soweto is different. You understand? We have conditioning coaches, and then we have coaches who are continuing to learn and do research about how you develop a player. You understand? So the player that will come from outside, chances are, fitness-wise, is below our standard. And once you're not fit, when the game starts challenging, you won't be able to impose your game and show your talent. And then now you look like a bad player. Because our players will be faster than you in terms of thinking, in terms of reaction. And then now the good player that you spoke about, you won't be good enough. And then we'll say, no, this is not a good player. JD doesn't take us seriously. You understand? So we are not that bad in terms of being good human beings. What we do, if we see a bad player, we don't just chase because it's a human being and it's a kid. So we'll try to explain to him after the training to say, look, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're not going to be able to give you another opportunity. Go back and work on this, and then we'll come back.
I like that.
You understand?
It's not like they must have way.
No, previously, the
coaches in
they
your
take it
generation,
immediately. They don't waste time.
Are you serious?
Before, they were not doing what we're doing now. But even if we are professionals and we say it's an elite academy, yes, you're disturbing the session, but at least let him finish the session and then talk to him nicely after, and then you talk to whoever brought him, and then I believe they will understand.
Let's get into your nickname, DVD. Dude, who came up with that name?
It's my former principal. There was an academy called Chipeya.
Yeah.
So I passed my matric in Limpopo, and then I didn't know tertiary level. And then my cousin came to Joburg. He said, there's an academy, because I was a football person. So let's go. So the nickname came where we were playing in tournament in Soweto.
Yeah.
So, they commented there. So they said they want a list of the nicknames and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't have one. I had different nicknames.
This is a team
Yeah, they gave me different nicknames. No, but I moved to Joburg.
Yes. Okay.
To attend to Dumitru again in a different school.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. So the school was playing a tournament called Midlands.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I met the guy. I saw the guy Macarena. I was top during that time. He was killing us. So the principal said, no, we'll use your name, but we'll just take maybe the vowels out and then say DVD. So from there it stuck. So yeah, I'm the original DVD basically. So if you hear someone, they call him DVD, you must know it. But after now.
Let's talk about growing up Kokasi, Limpopo.
Sure.
Bongeni, is it Bongeni? Bongeni village.
Bongeni, that's my village.
How was that for you as a youngster?
It was cool. Obviously, you were exposed to what you're seeing at that village, and life, it was all about going to school. After school, you play football.
Yeah.
Saturday, you play football the whole day. So football was an everyday thing.
Yeah.
But it was nice village, good people around. There wasn't a lot to do.
Yeah.
Just have to go to school and come back and play football.
Were you always that good, at a young age, or you always one of that player that you knew you were better than most of the guys around you, or you just never knew what talent you had?
I think after maybe around the age of 12, while I was doing primary, and then people started noticing that, okay, this guy has got something, So, but that pushed me also. So I want people to say that more.
Yeah.
I want to be better than my brother who play football. I want to be better than my friends as well.
Yeah.
So when we moved to high school, the same thing. I played more. And from early stages, I used to train on my own, honestly, without obviously knowing exactly what I was doing, whether it was proper or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will take a
ball
go
most
to
of the time.
Yeah, I'll go to the field alone. Just kick the ball. So people from my village, they know. I will move from my home to the ground just juggling.
So the smoothness of you being on the ball and just seeing, when I saw 2 options, when you saw 20 options, you were more like a Pelo type of thing. You were smooth. I was quick. I know when you played at the same pace and whatever, but nobody could ever take the ball away from you. So all that thing was all self-taught, like we Testicular na Kokasi.
Yeah, but obviously the game, when you turn professional, at the beginning of my professional career, certain things I was struggling.
Yeah.
I understand. But as we grew, I realized the game, it's easy. You need to be calm. Wow. You need to be coached well. Wow. You understand, you need to know how to control your nerves. So I think that because of when I turned 28, I realized, no, man, you don't have to panic when you have the ball on the field of play. You need to be calm. You need to be calm. You need to be calm because it's one-on-one situation on the field of play and they've got a lot of options on the field of play. So that's why as I grew, the game became better and better. But I felt like I was supposed to be trained that at an early stage. So I was supposed to be doing what I was doing at 28 at the age of 18. So I think that goes back to coaching to say, okay, yes, I appreciate what the coaches have done for me, and stuff like that. They helped me too. But I realized that if we do proper coaching at an early stage, it means a player at 18 can play like a 28-year older.
Ibab, did you just say what you just said? You said the game is simple. There's a lot of people that don't understand it.
The game is simple. It needs the people who are leading, especially from coaching point of view.
Yeah.
You need to know your story. If you know a story and you have confidence as a coach, the players will play with confidence because they are not scared to lose. They're not scared to make mistakes because it's a game of mistakes.
Yeah.
They know that part of the game is making those mistakes. So they're not worried about that. They're worried about what to do after making those mistakes and improving the game and making less and less mistakes. But if I panic as a coach, then that transfers to the players.
Let me hit you up with this. You see the Italians. The Italians, they rate experience.
Sure.
Because they understand the older you get. Yeah. When you're 30, when you over 25, I think, 26, you start to realize, I used to do a lot of stuff unnecessarily.
Yeah.
The game is simple. And the game is literally like easy.
Yeah.
Right? You picked it up once you into it. The South Africans, once you turn 30, they think you're done.
Yeah.
And you just said it right now.
Sure.
You just said the game is so simple, but you only realize only later in your career.
Yeah.
But that's when they're thinking that you are done. How do you how do you rate that in South Africa?
It shouldn't be the case because you have seen a lot of players retiring early in South Africa. But those players, they go for tests, they go to preseason and they pass the test.
Yes.
So why do you stop him from playing? You understand? Sometimes as coaches, and we feel like, hey, these guys, they are going to challenge me. Without even working with Josta for at least a year. So
it's an ego thing.
Yeah. So you have to work with the experienced guys to help you as a coach, to help your team as well.
Yeah.
You have to find a way. I find like most coaches, they're very negative about experienced guys. And it shouldn't be the case because the youngsters need those experienced guys. You played soccer for a longer period, and I'm 100% sure there were senior guys. It's like go in a game, it's easy.
Yeah.
So you try to pick from things from those guys, and then now you put in your game. You become better. But if those guys are not there, you just see a lot of guys running on the field of play without showing proper quality.
Headless chickens, because they think they know. Nobody ever tells them. When the game goes, there's obviously times in the game where your opponents are going to come at you.
Yeah.
Now, if you have leaders in the field, they'll be like, guys, these guys, they're coming at us. We need to stay calm.
Sure.
Because that's experience,
True.
right?
True.
That's why you need the experienced players.
Yeah.
Now, the coaches that are sitting out there that are supposed to be picking that up, they see DVD as a threat and like, I'm
Yeah.
But they don't understand what input you can put on the field.
My dream, JD, is ukuthi as a player, whether young or old.
Yeah.
I must make you play better than the previous season. So if you're a senior player with experience, I must make sure that I take everything out from you to help me and the young lads. I was fortunate when I joined Dynamos NFD team.
Yeah.
That time there was no distance of under 23 and stuff. Yeah. So there were a lot of senior guys.
Yeah.
So you have Pumlan Dindi, you have RD Pinkosi, Joel Fires Roba. And those guys, they came with different qualities. Pumlan Dindi was good in passing the ball. He could strike, good shot at goal.
Yeah.
So now as a youngster, I said, no, I want to be better than those guys. And for the only thing I could do is when we're done training, later on, go back, train with my mates, and then we try to strike better, and then the technique improve. And if you can remember, when we played together at Chiefs, under most of the coaches I played under, when he has to maybe free kick delivery, they were going to give me an opportunity to say, okay, David. But you might find that was the only quality that helped me to be on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Because maybe me and Josta, in terms of playing the game, were more or less the same.
Yeah.
But David has got this good delivery in terms of free kick. So he give us at least a chance.
Yeah.
So the coach said, no, let me have David.
Yeah.
You understand?
I see. Yeah, I see.
So it's all about creating an environment where people can learn, a competitive environment.
Taking care of ourselves, Mpana. We've teamed up with Take a Lot. We all know that, a lot of guys that get excited, when they check out their package. We did talk about, taking your packages. April is that month in Ghana where you have to go, like I said, every once a month, right? Once a month, for 10 minutes, you just have to go check your package. I don't know if you do it, Dan. Do you ever go check? I know we never.
I don't know.
I gotta be honest. I've never done it.
I've never.
You gotta do it, bro.
I have to start.
Yeah, because what they're saying is if you detect something, early, it can be cured. If sometimes most of the guys they check it out later and it's too late and the doctors can't help you. You know what I mean? You need to go check your package out, bro. So for now, since Take a Lot, it's like a gift in Ghana, I want you to open the package and see what's inside the package.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And we're gonna talk about what. And I want you to tell me what you.
This is my package.
Get the box, bro.
Okay.
That's your gift. That's a gift for you.
Okay. Thank you.
I want you to to unwrap it for me and tell me what you have in there.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna flip it a bit. Whatever that you take out, I'm just gonna flip it for you and ask you questions on that.
So the first one, mixed nuts.
Nuts.
Roasted, yeah.
Nuts. Let me flip it into football. Okay. Who was the craziest coach that ever coached you, in your prime?
Craziest coach?
Yeah.
Coach Muhsin.
He was crazy.
Coach Muhsin was crazy.
Yeah.
Or maybe his passion was beyond what I was used to. Very tactical. football person.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it's someone who I communicate with even now to learn certain things, you know, yeah. But Coach Muhsin was crazy. It
was crazy. I played at Nahebi. It was crazy, but one of the best coaches I ever worked with him tactically and whatever. Let's see, what's the next one, bro?
Okay.
What's the next gift? Unpack it for me, bro. Let's see.
What is this? Manscaper.
Yeah, that's a shaver, bro.
Yeah, shaver.
That's a shaver, bro. Like, you know. Let me flip it back into football again, into that. Who was razor sharp in front of goals in your generation? If he got, like, you know, 5 chances, who was razor sharp to finish those 5 chances in your generation?
Yeah. Collins Mbesuma. So my first season at Chiefs was, he became the leading goal scorer, scored a lot of goals. So almost every game I was scoring that guy.
What a player.
You know, and he was gifted. His left foot, he could strike the ball from any angle, and he scored a lot of goals. I think with obviously the quality that we had also helped, but in front of goals, he was deadly.
You made him look good. I mean,
he was deadly.
Yeah, deadly. Like, you know, we all know Mbesuma, bro. Like, you know, that season, his first season with Chiefs, I think he had a crazy season. How many goals did he score? I don't know, but
35 in total.
The record, nobody's ever broke that record till today.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah, that's Mbesuma for you. The Zambian international. What's the next one, boy?
This one is a shower gel.
Shower gel?
Yeah.
Hey, sir, let me flip it into football in that one.
Sure.
Who used to be like, you know, in your generation, like, you know, stayed in the mirror a lot of times and like, you know, I'd be like, check out
Narata to be clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Shaba.
Shaba Ranks.
Shaba wanted to look good all the time.
Till today.
Yeah.
Till today, we all know it.
Care of himself. Yeah. So Shaba is that person.
The first guy that scored that World Cup goal against Mexico for FNB. Shaba Barai, why Tata Bafeti? He's always like, you know, in the mirror, trying to look nice and all that. If you don't know, now you know. What's that one?
A mirror.
The mirror. Now that's I think it's the same as the shower. Let's put that. The mirror, that's the one that you're gonna be using when you're checking your package.
Okay. You have to use the mirror.
Use the mirror. That 10 minutes that I told you about?
Sure.
Yes, for sure. Use the mirror to check, like, you know, that's the one. But also, I'm going to put it around Shaba, always being in the mirror, trying to look good. I had also, Barely, the Black Jesus used to like to
Yeah.
Skarangobes.
Yeah. Skarangobes too much. No. He used to dress smart.
Yeah.
You know, dress smart. Yeah. All the time in Skara.
Yeah. So may his soul rest in peace. One of the best talents that we ever played with. We ever played against.
Highly talented.
You know, highly talented.
Highly talented.
We miss that, like, you know, that talent. What's the next one, bro?
Okay. Next one. I don't know what is this.
It's an egg. What is that? It's a timer, bro. Isn't that a timer? I think that's the one that you use. Yeah, I think that's a timer. That's the one that you use. Obviously, like I said, every time, once a month, you just need to check your package for 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Go around the balls. Make sure you hold them nicely. You know, shake them a bit. You know, anything that you feel in there, like, you know, you can go and, like, you know, go professional help. I'm not a professional. You can go get professional help. Obviously, like I said, if you detect this thing early, it can be cured. What's the next one, boy?
Tennis balls.
Tennis balls. I don't know what's a tennis ball. That's just a gift from us. That one you can just use for. I know you guys use tennis balls for goalkeepers. You train your goalkeepers.
Yeah, I've seen some goalkeeper trainers using tennis balls.
Yeah. Okay, I'd like to thank Testicular for hooking us up with the gifts, and my boy is happy. You know, now he's got a shaver now. You can take it home, and not forgetting that 10 minutes. 10 minutes, you need to do it once a month. That's just like 12 months. That's like 12 checkups a year. That's all you got to do. Shout out to Testicular for hooking us up with the gift. How does Ntwana Limpopo end up go? I hear Unoluko Pagania. How did you end up go Pagania? What happened?
Yeah, Pagania, it wasn't a true story. So I think the information is wrong from wherever. From their school, I went to Dynamos, Giyani.
Yeah.
Because they started the team at NFT. So they bought the state as someone from Giyani, and they invited us for trials and stuff. So I managed to be scouted by Coach Sakala. Yeah. So everything started there. I played for Dynamos 2.5 seasons.
Yeah.
And then after I went to Kaizer Chiefs, I was seen by Coach the late Dumitru.
Dumitru,
yeah. May his soul rest in peace. Yeah. So that's how it happens. I had a good 2 seasons at Dynamos.
Yeah. What a team you guys. I think I played with. Did I play against Dynamos when I was at Vets? People hated going there, bro.
Yeah.
What is it about like that
difficult.
Dynamos team? That was crazy, bro. Like you guys had players for days.
Yeah. We had top players there.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the guys obviously were around over 30. They were coming from your Chiefs. Yeah. We had Lifa Kosha. Yeah.
What a player.
Yeah, we had some of the guys who were coming from Zambia as well.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of experienced guys and a good bunch of promising, talented players.
Yeah. Trips that people hated was going to Toyando, playing against Black Leopards, Dynamos. And like, how do you feel about that? Like all these big teams, bro, they're no longer there. Like there's no, like literally like a big team from Venda and Jaga Elor, like, is representing you guys more the PSL. What do you think? Is it because of the management or what is it?
I think so. And also you need to change with time.
Yeah.
And want to be better.
Yeah.
You don't have to be jealous of other teams. You need to learn from those teams who are doing well.
Yeah.
You need to expose yourself to what's happening out there. You need to go outside of South Africa to go and see other teams. So you're going to be able to learn more about how you maybe sustain your team.
Yeah.
And how you use football maybe in terms of business. So without you going out, it's going to be challenging. You can't be doing the same thing that we're doing in '96 and expecting a different result now. So for you to learn and improve, you need to go out there and check. For me, as a young coach, to be better,
go with the times.
I need to go out. I need to talk to other coaches.
Yeah. How was the Muti? Like, let's start with when you were playing at Dynamos. Was there a lot of Muti that you guys did?
At Dynamos, not really. We're not that exposed at Dynamos. But I know how people think about us from coming from that side. But I mean, these are African teams and these are African people. So they will use Muti for whatever reason, maybe for protection or for their players or for their team. So I believe majority of the teams in South Africa, they use Muti, and that's what they believe in.
I think it's been there. It's traditional. It's tradition now. Like before us, they were using Muti.
Exactly.
We can't change it. Like now we we only believe in like the Lord and whatever. And yes, we do. But now you get into somebody else's house who's opened the door for you to stay with them. And they say they're using this. You can't say no.
Exactly. And now you caught between what you believe in and what they believe in. And if you are a strong believer, I don't know if whatever you believe in allow you maybe to use Muti. Understand if you're a strong believer. So I don't think it's wrong. It's their culture. It's how they've been doing for years. And they got success, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So there's nothing that we can say it works or it doesn't work.
Because we don't know.
We don't know. We don't know. Strong.
We don't know.
Strong.
I think even like Western, where you come, you say Dynamos didn't like, probably they did it to the kid. And now you move to Josie and then you see stuff.
That's why I'm saying these are African teams and we should respect it. You understand? I won't say they have to change, but I think some of the teams, it get to an extent whereby they feel like without that, we won't make it happen. And that mentality goes to maybe to the players or whoever is working, and also take the credit away from maybe the coaches and everything. So if you're using whatever you're using, it shouldn't be in a way that you say, okay, it's all because of this only. Because I can give you anything now. I can give you Muti now. And then say, go and play now. You'll realize that you need training. So that it can be fitter. You understand? And then exactly. So you need to help yourself. So, man, the only problem I have, I think like some of the people, they believe that without that,
they can't succeed.
2004,
you end up at Chiefs. How does the move come about?
Coach Ted, I think he has seen me playing, and I was fortunate that Mestenkuna is a businessman who was part of Dynamos then, and he was also connected to Chiefs. So it was easy for the coach to be able to communicate with me because Mr. Nkuna was there all the time when we play at Dynamos.
Yeah.
You know, so he's the one who told me that no. Chiefs want you, Coach Ted wants you.
Yeah.
You know, so I just had to wait for the right time to move from Dynamos to Kaizer Chiefs. So imagine from the villages, and then now you sign for Kaizer Chiefs. So for me, it was big thing, my friend. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
You know, now I'm going home to the village. I just signed a contract today. And
you signed the contract? Did you go through
a pre-contract?
No.
Mr. Bobby.
Yeah.
Sign a contract. You know, so
how long was the contract?
Didn't have to read it. The contract was 3 years. You know, so
the numbers, you don't know how much money you're gonna get?
No, the monies you could see. You know, but to read the contract, I don't want to lie. You know, so that's why these players or the youngsters in Africa or South Africa need people to manage them so that at least they can do proper stuff.
Because when at that point you are excited, Kaizer Chiefs wants me. You just want to sign and go play for Chiefs.
Just have to sign and then join Kaizer Chiefs when the season starts. You know, so
obviously the money was better, but
far much better.
From Dynamos, you getting much better.
Far much better. Far much better.
How was that experience, bro? Once you walked in that village.
Now you see these guys you saw playing for national team, 2008, playing for national team 98.
Yeah.
Playing for national team 96, like the guy like Shoes.
Yeah.
I watched Fabian playing for Sundowns, the Olympics.
Sundowns, now the Chiefs.
You see Thabo Moke. I just watched him playing for Komuletsane a few years ago. A big player from Soweto.
Yeah.
I just watched him as an amateur player going to this tournament, Godfrey Mloi's tournament.
Yeah, who's that?
Thabo Moke. You know.
Yeah.
I've seen Arthur Zwane playing there. Now we're sharing the field with these guys. You know, and these are proper players. They know what they're doing.
We're now like Lara, you're a skinny boy from Limpopo.
Yeah. So
how was the welcome, bro? Be honest.
It was.
I know it was ruthless back in the days.
Yeah, but I think it was starting to change a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it was in that situation where now you're coming to take maybe our job. No.
Yeah.
Now I was fortunate. The guys liked me, and I would say it was a bit easy to settle. But I was trying every day to show what I have also to be accepted.
Of course.
You know, and you start noticing that maybe when you play small-sided, sometimes the coaches will give the players, okay, you select your team, JD, David, select your team. And then now, okay, Thabo Moke is, okay, sure, maybe I'm on the right track. This guy want me in his team, playing small-sided game.
Yeah.
Sure, so understand.
Yeah.
So those are the things that give you, I still need to work more. I want to be better than
your
this
first
guy.
day, tell me your first training. Obviously, you were there, struck.
Sure.
And you knew how to now you play. So was Skara.
Yeah, I joined same time with Skara. Gert, I came with Simpwembambo, was coming back from loan, was a Kaizer Chiefs player.
Yeah.
And with Papa Mngomezolo, another skillful player from Alexander. And who else? The late Skizo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we joined at the same time. You know, but we joined unale Shoes Umsheu. And I love this guy. Something else. You understand? So now you have to adjust as quickly as possible. You know, obviously at the beginning it will be a bit challenging, but the guys, honestly, they were nice.
Yeah.
And it was easy because I was coming with someone from Dynamos in Puembambo who was used to the environment. Even though
they signed 2 players.
Yeah, they loaned him to Dynamos, and then we played together for a season, and then when we came back, we came back together.
Yeah.
You know, so it was a bit easier. But it didn't take long for the other guys to like me. And I think it was because of maybe how I played the game as well. You know?
That's what they always say that they test you first. If
So you have to do something to skokonyana, mushekenyana,
Skoko. Why everybody wanted to do that? Every time.
Skoko was a good guy, man.
Everybody that came, what a guy, bro. I spoke to that guy. Just, every time like I was traveling with him.
Yeah.
And the things that he said as a leader and how he protected, a certain player that was in the team.
Yeah.
And we hardly see leaders like that. Leaders are no Bapa Isa and whatever.
Yeah.
We all know who are perfect. And they know your weakness, but they know that they need you in the team.
Yeah.
They can literally go balo paisa go bo but leaders you had leaders in that team, they protect.
They try to help you. Yeah.
You know, they knew that what you ever did was never right, but they didn't say you must do it.
Sure.
But they hide most of the time.
Even on the field of play.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I played on the right back is cock. I told you sometimes who's so imagine the change of mindset if you're playing with someone who assure you it doesn't mean that you mustn't come back and help. But he's saying, hey, help us in attack. Understand? Play with Athazwane, sometimes they say the same thing. So they tell you, feel free, my friend. Play the game.
Yeah. You can only produce at that point.
So they were there to help you.
Yeah. So Ntwana, do you still remember your first game at Chiefs? Let me say also the first derby that you had against Pirates. What was your first game and what was your first? How was your first
game? First league game. It was Platinum, Silver Stars then. We're playing FNB.
The old FNB.
Yeah, those guys Silver Stars was a tough team. Yeah. So we played them. We beat them. I think 2-0. Mbesuma scored a cracker, and I had a good game. I played against Stanley Dladla. So Stanley Dladla will play the friendly. Yeah, and Ashapa Batustro. Stanley Dladla will play the friendly while we're still in the NFT, and then he broke my leg. So I met him again at the PSL level. So the small bone on the side came. Check. Cancel a friendly. So I'm meeting him again.
No, there's no way. It's gonna intimidate.
He got the red card.
This guy has ever.
He got the red card. Go give me my first game. After kicking me again, so that was my first game, and then we also played the game. This Vodacom Challenge we playing against team from DRC. I think we played SA Vita. Yeah, I scored. It was from free kick from Thabo Moki. I scored with a header in that game. So that was my first goal. Yeah, inside the box.
Hi, serious.
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah. So those were then. It was nice, man, and we play against these guys. But it was helping in terms of my growth as well.
Yeah, the derby, first derby. Tell me that. How was that atmosphere just playing?
First derby, it was the second season under coach Middendorp.
Yeah,
it was a tough game because Pirates were doing well that time. Get Pirates abo cheesy, abo gift Remy. So it wasn't a nice game. Yeah. But after that, other derbies were decent.
Yeah, because that team in the youngsters that just got promoted.
And
then, they were coming.
They were running. They had good quality. They were talented.
Yeah. What a talent.
Remy was there. So it was an exciting Pirates team.
What a team. And Lorona Kamo Ricardo Santowns.
Yeah, Luna. But that was a good competition because all the teams has got more or less equal quality, even though the style of play was a bit different.
Yeah.
But to say, okay, we're playing Sundowns, and Ronaldo was West under Muhsin. Coach Muhsin, he wasn't scared. He will say, I'll play David, Mandla, Gert Schalkwyk, we're playing Sundowns. Yeah. Let's play.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, obviously, he was confident in what he
highly
did.
Confident coach.
Highly confident
coach.
The difference between Dynamos and Kaizer Chiefs in terms of professionalism?
Huge difference. I mean, the biggest thing you appreciate a lot, the team gave you the opportunity. But Kaizer Chiefs, I mean, it's well run. They're organized. Everything is proper.
Yeah.
When I came to Kaizer Chiefs, the transport arranged for me to move from where I'm staying to training. We had Bablanga.
You
understand? So I didn't have to be worried about transport from where I'm staying because I didn't have a car.
Yeah.
And also, they gave me accommodation as well. You understand?
That was the first thing. You're not used to this.
Yeah, fully finished. So, okay, I'm coming to Totsamani. So they make things easier.
Yeah.
And that was 2004.
Yeah.
You understand? So the professionalism, obviously Dynamos was a new team. The owner was new in football. So things were challenging. They're still learning.
Yeah.
So that's why if I have to purchase the team in the future, I need to visit these guys. I need to visit Tatemutaung, to understand, how to run this type of business. I have to go outside and see what the other guys are doing outside or other teams.
Yeah.
I think we have the privilege. You played in Denmark. Maybe you can contact someone from Denmark. I go there. see their facilities, see how they run things.
You don't even have to.
When I come back,
go there, I'm here.
Yeah.
You ask me.
Exactly. You can share the information.
Yeah.
So,
I want to build something. What should I do? Hey, man, this and that.
So when I start that business, I want to make players comfortable as much as they can.
Yeah, but I'm in the village, bro. We were just there a few days ago playing as like, senior players, Sunday League. And what the chairman has done with that place, bro.
I spend a lot of hours at the village, my friend. And every day,
DVD.
I admire that place.
Yes.
It's top. It's top.
Yo.
Sometimes I have the privilege and go and watch the guys training, realize that these guys are privileged.
Do they realize that though? This boys my first team and whatever. Do they actually realize what time at football goes so quickly and they privileged? There's so many millions of people in South Africa.
I believe they do, because sometimes we have conversation with some of the individuals. You can realize that they're trying their best. They're trying their best. Things are not going their way.
It's just a tough situation right now for them. First season, you get to Kaizer Chiefs. That was a crazy season where Besuma scored those crazy goals. You win your first title in your first season.
Yeah.
How was that, bro?
Feeling was great, man. Feeling was great. You played with top players. You are not in the team regularly. And when you make that 18 or 20, at that age, you celebrate, because you make the 18 and look at the players around you, they're not part of the team. So I wasn't worried. And even the coach assured me, don't be worried about playing more. It's your first season, want you to settle. So it shows the experience also from the coach and to understand how football works. You can't just come in, because there are other top players who are playing and the team is doing well, who won the league.
I plus in your position.
Exactly. You understand? We had the young junior Kanye who did well the previous season. Understand? You had Skarango who's coming
on the left-hand side.
Exactly.
But when you played more as an 8, more as an outdoing.
Yeah, under Coach Ted, I played more central. I wasn't playing outside. But there you have Tinashe, you have Derek Spencer, you have Thabo Mogu, you have Shoes, you have Majoro playing as a 10.
Was Jabula Mendu there?
Jabula Mendu was there.
Yes.
So how do you get a space? So the sooner I accept that, okay, these guys are good enough. You don't have to be jealous and be angry every day. Come and enjoy your time. Come and learn from the guys. Use that period to learn and settle. And time will come where you get more opportunities.
Baba, we had like Gert in the show just the other day, and everybody's still raving about your combination, Gert. What is it about you guys that linked you guys so well in the team playing with each other?
Funny enough, we're not friends off the field.
Serious?
So I think it's the football thing. You understand? Him being able to read me and me vice versa. You understand? Understanding how he plays the game. But Gert was top. He could make good runs. He could finish. He could take care of the ball much better than other players.
Till today, bro.
Yeah.
You must see him. Till today, he can do that there.
Top talent. He was coming from Vets and he was scoring at Vets.
Yeah.
So even at Chiefs, he was doing the same thing. He
was playing as a false 9.
You could use him there.
And behind Besuma, he could make those runs and whatever.
It was top.
It's crazy, but because everybody's just saying like,
we played together under Coach Middendorp, and we're coming on as a sub because we're young.
Yeah.
You understand? So, but most of the time when you came in, people had expectation.
Yeah.
And I think we were able to deliver. That's why people are still talking about that combination.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to get combination. It's difficult for coaches. When you watch football now, you watch PSL, because it's difficult for coaches to connect players.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like, people don't link up. It's like they don't understand each other. They're teammates, but they don't understand each other. I don't know what's happening, bro.
They are on the edge all the time. Like they're panicking. Something is going to happen, So how do you make them settle? It's
too late. You can't change a 25-year-old, bro.
Yeah.
He's got bad habits already.
It's challenging. But let's say with all our South African players playing for different teams, do you think this is the best that we can give? So it means if you're saying you become a coach today for whatever team in the PSL, so the players, they are going to pay fairly small. I still believe there's something that we need to do as South African coaches to help the players who are playing now to perform maybe 10 times better than what they're doing now. You understand?
I mean, you was promoted at 18, 19.
Sure.
And now at 18, 19, they say you are a youngster.
Yeah.
See, that's where it goes wrong.
But
I understand when you're saying it's a different country, we can't be compared.
Yeah, because we say there are level whereby you train players to understand training. You train players to compete. So I'm training players now at 19. I'm expected to train them and expect from them that they're at level whereby they need to compete and deliver.
Yes, true. Yeah,
but then look at them and where they come from. That's not the level. You understand? So I still need to train them to understand how to train. So that when you come to training, what are the coaches at the highest level expecting? If you behave like this, they will take it this way. So that when they move to a reserve league, now at least they have got semi-professional players who understand. Okay, I come here early, I do this and this. My behavior should be like this so that the coach doesn't take it negatively. You understand? So that's why we shouldn't use more or less the same curriculum they're using overseas. Because our players, they don't start at the same level as the overseas players. So a 19-year-old here will be lucky. We were lucky to have relay. How many relays do we have? We have got 16 teams. Mfundo,
yes, those are the
Shaba.
ones.
Very few.
That's but also I think they like man. It's like the Hembriki. You know, like when you see them play with the national team, with the under 23s, under 20s or under 20s.
Yeah, the juniors,
and they're doing so well. And, but like cheesy is, I don't know, what is it?
I think when I look at the teams or where we're coaching at GDL level, and then you listen to the coach on the other side, you realize that most coaches will confuse our players. You understand? That's why train. When you go to the field, you have to perform, right? And then when you come out, so now I will create a system which will help you to dribble. So you'll get the ball more times. Now start dribbling. Go fast balat. Until you fail. And then now you become coachable. When you come back, you see, now you need to improve your technique and your dribbling skills. Your close control, you need to improve it. You understand?
I see what you're saying.
So most coaches, when you try to dribble, you dribble once, you fail. You dribble second time, you fail. What will they say? Are you doing the same thing, my bro? But the same thing that you're doing is what you're good at.
That's
just
a strong point. Yes, that's a strong point. Ribery, you know, he's gonna. He's still gonna do that.
So how dribble more? So you dribble 5 times, you fail 3 times, you successful twice, 2 scoring opportunities. So this negative is okay. It gives me information to say, let's go back and work in your dribbling skills.
So you make it 5 out of 4.
Yeah. So if you make 2, it's still enough. Those Ballon d'Or players, they lose the ball easily. But because they take risk, now they become better. They score more goals, they assist a lot. But Runa, that's why people, they say maybe you don't see a lot of skillful players. In South Africa, who player can dribble 3 players? No one.
It's only you only see Relay doing it now.
You as a coach. But the problem is not the players. Do you allow it as a coach now? Because you don't dribble. Pela haki dribble 1, dribble 2. How about you player B is free? How else I pass dribble too much? But if I realize this guy is skillful, dribble about 2.
We actually like now when we're not Polo, we isolate you. So you can have a one-on-one with that one.
Exactly.
We move out. So it's understanding the players, like we spoke about the understanding.
And make the other players understand as well.
Hey, okay,
we have this guy can dribble. We have this guy can dribble. Allow him to dribble.
You dribbling. I know how you're dribbling, but you're looking for that opportunity to give me that killer pass. I hear what you're saying.
So, but who's the best dribbler in South Africa? We'll say Relay.
At this point,
PSA. He's the one who's dribbling.
At this point.
But I mean, how many skillful players in South Africa we have?
A lot.
So why are they not showing it?
Are they being selected? Are they playing for the
But I believe they are there in the teams. Even Pella, before you could play Arrows and admire how they play. Right? They had top players. They had Papi Zotwane, Sbeko. You understand? A lot of good players. So it means the coach was allowing them to showcase what they have.
That's why they were called Fanabis 10.
But obviously, within the structure of the team, how you want to play. You know, you have your principles of how you want to play the game and stuff. So, but I think we as coaches were the one who were taking that away from these players because we're not giving them opportunities.
You played against, you played under few coaches. And I'm going to name a few, the ones that you liked, the ones that you learned stuff from. And I'm going to name a few, right? Ertugral, Middendorp, Papik, VV. We all know VV. So how would you summarize them, in a bit, those coaches that I just called out, that you played under? Which ones you liked playing under? Which ones did you learn certain stuff from? Now you are a coach.
Sure.
When you're sitting there, you're like, okay, this one was actually the best one for me. Which one would you pick? Papik, Ertugral, VV, Middendorp, Dumitru?
I think Coach Ted was top in terms of managing the players.
Yeah.
And that's the most important part in football. It's the most important part which we neglect, to focus more on the tactics. And if you don't manage your players well, most of the players, they will start being demotivated.
Yeah.
Because if a 25-man squad, and then I don't select you for 2-3 weeks, when I read out the names, you understand?
Yeah.
So you need to keep the squad together, which is not easy. I think under Ted, he managed that well. And Coach Middendorp, top coach.
Yeah.
Well organized in terms of training, good training session. I started to learn about German coaches, that they are serious coaches, bit aggressive in terms of their approach. So me coming from the villages, I had to learn that, okay, this is how we operate. Coach Muhsin, very tactical. I mean, I spoke about him being crazy, but I think that was more about him being passionate about the game, and his level, I think, was top compared to what we gave Tina in terms of application on the field of play. He taught us automatism, so understanding the expectations from the players around you. It took longer. I realize now, it helped a lot in modern game. He was doing it then.
Back then, yes.
Yeah.
Crazy. 20 years ago, this guy was doing
people
it.
now, they talk about positional play, understanding where you operate as a footballer. But you need to be connected with the players around you.
Yeah, he marked it. Like every training session, they mark it. So this is your area, that's your area. Understand your area.
Yeah.
If you understand your area as a team, can you imagine what you do?
The level
it's crazy.
of competition or from him, it was top. It was top.
Yeah.
Coach Papik, I had him he trained us for 6 months. Different approach from Serbia, I think, coach.
Yeah.
They believe more in hard work.
It's fitness,
Yeah.
It's fitness. There,
fitness.
Yeah.
Of which Kaizer Chiefs is more of, yes, fitness is part of the game.
Yeah.
But most of the players are technical players. They want to do most of the things with football. They don't believe in running.
Yeah.
If you want to make them run, you must find a better way, even with the ball. That's what Coach Ted used to do.
Yeah.
Ball every day. So also Coach Gordon Igasin, I played under him at Swallows. Good man manager. I think he prefers more players who have more than 5 seasons in the PSL. Experienced guys.
Yeah.
Play them in their position.
He knows who to pick to come and win games for him.
Exactly.
He's
good
a
man
businessman,
manager.
that one. He's just a businessman on the field. That's it.
Streetwise.
Yeah, streetwise. Yeah.
So it doesn't make the game complicated.
Yeah. That was with Swallows, bro. Yeah. That was with Swallows.
Yeah.
Why decided to go to Swallows after, having a few years at Chiefs? How was that with Swallows? As we know, it's no longer there. Swallows.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you?
Also, the opportunity that came.
Yeah.
And I'm staying in Joburg with my family. So Swallows was very close to where I stay. And the offer was okay.
Yeah.
And when I look at the players that they have, I felt like, no. Let me go play with Novet, Sibaya, And so Joseph Makanya, he also pushed for me to come. Because I went and trained with them. And I think for a few days and nothing happened. Joseph was there already.
Yeah.
And then I say, okay, let me stay at home because they are not saying anything.
Yeah.
And then, Joseph pushed for me to come back. My brother come.
What a human being.
Yeah. Good.
He's
good
a coach being. Like you, produces really comes from him.
Imagine.
He's got an eye. Yes. He's a good friend of mine. I started talking to this guy and he's what a player and what a human being as well. And we need more coaches like you guys. Him and, you and I hope Jimmy's doing the very same thing.
Sure.
It's always good to see the guys that we played against and we played with, taking care of the youngsters.
Mustn't make players feel like you're jealous about
what
what I mean,
bro?
Now.
I like that because I'm actually really confident that, we're going to see a lot of talent coming from you guys. Because I'm jealous.
No.
I star.
Yeah.
Star. Let him know. Right? Star, boy.
I'm only happy when you come and watch the first game.
Yeah.
You're not happy. You tell me what you saw. When you watch game number 10, I want you to be happy about the game. I want you to see even individuals within the team say, don't lead Totsiko guy.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I'm still learning to produce top players.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I believe I'll get there where I produce exceptional players.
Still remember that 2012 MTN 8 final?
Yeah.
Swallows.
Super
You guys were just like
Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the coach was Coach zeGame, because Coach yeah. Arneri Tula Bajmulari Paikaive Gotlas Arkor. It was his celebration. Yeah. But
these are all the rejects.
Yeah.
Think
you can
about
put it that way.
All the players that were let go. People didn't care about their experience.
Yeah.
You guys had to prove a point that we're not done.
Sure.
And that's what I saw on the field.
As a coach, you have a responsibility to make it exciting for them.
Yeah.
You understand?
You guys used to go to Germany. You just went on. I hear you guys, they took care of you guys. Bonuses were crazy.
It was top, man. It was a bunch of good players. The team took care of the players, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, so playing against Supersport, we're playing against Coach Gavin. And you know, Coach Gavin has got a strong team as well, you know. He had Mabuti, Subusuzuma in that team, Franklin Kale, Doty. So it was a competitive team.
Yeah.
You know, but we managed to win the game. This guy from Georgia scored the first goal. It was an equalizer.
Yeah.
And then Chinene scored a beautiful goal. I think it was a pass from Mashiko. They tried to play offside. Mashiko played over. The goalkeeper Fernandez came off the line, and then Chinene scored. And Chinene was scoring.
Yes,
Chinene was scoring.
Tricky player, funny as well.
Every day, no, get all for the bonus.
Funny it's still today. He talks too much, that boy. Chinene.
Too much.
National team, bro.
Sure.
And there's people that get 70 caps. And,
sure.
And I look at you.
Yeah.
You should be getting 70 caps. And you only made 2 caps. 1 cap or 2 caps?
2 caps.
You feel like, you were cheated out of that opportunity?
Not really. No. I feel like the guys who were playing there also, they were top in my position. You understand? You played for national team at some point. Yeah. Obviously, I was a bit younger, you know, but there were a lot of good players in South Africa. So the coaches, obviously, they would pick their players, you know. But I look at myself and say, maybe not playing regularly, people may be talking about being inconsistent, you know. And those are the things that I'm fighting for when I'm coaching, to say, okay, how do I help these players to be consistent? My system need to give a good base for the players to perform. So it's like you're going to write an exam and you have got maybe 40% going into the exam. It means you just need few maybe to get distinction.
Pass.
You understand? You just need few to get a distinction. So football wasn't like that, where you go to the game and then you have a base.
Half and half, there's no way. You gotta go all out.
You start from zero.
You
understand?
Every game.
Yeah. So, but when you look, that's why you see a lot of players in Europe, they're playing well week in, week out, because there's a system in place. So when you look at Sundowns in the previous season, everyone was doing well. The system in place. So you guarantee that you're going to play good football.
Yeah.
You're going to play well in the game.
Nutrition, rest, team taking care, making sure they know that you can give them that consistency for 10 years.
So from there, you just have to show us what you can do as an individual. The team is giving you this, show us what you can do. When you start from zero, even when you push, you don't push to an exceptional level. You understand?
Yeah.
So the system is very much important, and sometimes we don't understand this. The system. Before the pattern, remember we used to say pattern, and I'm not sure if we understood what does it mean. You understand? Yeah. So, but the patterns of play, when you develop them, they take longer. Once they click, that's the foundation of how we want to play the game. Because I know when I have the ball, JD knows what to do. So you're going to get the ball. Exactly.
Understanding the people that you.
So I think that plays a part in terms of me not being consistent. But I applaud the guys who manage under the coaching that we have to play consistently week in, week out, and manage to play for a national team.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you had Tiko, you had Shaba, you had Yeye. Those are top players. You understand?
So tell me this. And I like what you just said. And you're saying to me, the weaknesses that you picked up in your playing days, you don't want these kids to go through the same thing.
No.
as a father, you're sitting there, you're like, nah.
I have to help them.
I like that.
I have to help them because during my playing time, even the guys who I played with, some of them they will come to me and appreciate how I play the game. With teammates, maybe playing with Shoes and Super Sport, they know how good I am, right? And every day, because I try to compete every day, try to show my quality every day. The guys around me, they know this guy is good. Maybe mentally I wasn't stronger like JD or Tico or Shaba or Yeye in terms of me being there fighting that I want to play. But I believe I gave enough.
But that was a character, bro. You always come. But I can't change it. He's still like that even today.
So how do I help a player who has my character to perform?
Okay.
You understand? Okay. Because you can't say character and then everyone has the same character.
Yeah. No, we're not the same.
I don't think Iniesta has the character like it's not crazy. It's quiet.
He was quiet, yeah.
It's quiet, but he's performing.
But he's performing, yes.
You understand?
Another coach, Vivi, would say, this guy doesn't look like he wants to play.
Exactly.
Because it's more like...
But
give him the opportunity. Yes. I see what you say.
Exactly.
So you picked up all those things. You're like, okay, I'm going to use it to better these young ones to be better than me.
Sure.
As a father, that's what you do. As a coach, that's what you do.
We won't have all the players being louder on the field of play. You know, as you said, some are quiet, but they need to perform. How do I help them?
Yeah.
So, you know, the only challenge is sometimes to focus more on what players can do. So when I went to Stuttgart, they said, no, we do extra session with our top players.
Okay.
And you might find us who say, okay, we want to do extra session with those who are not doing well.
Okay.
So you forget about Josta.
Yeah.
Instead of, because you can see Josta is top here. So to them, they say, Josta is a Champions League player.
Yeah.
We have to make sure we push him more. So they train him more. Right? It doesn't mean that they neglect other players, but they look for the top players to train them better so that they become
They don't want
top
to
players.
overload the ones that know they can't handle, but they know this one can handle
Sure.
it. Oh, I see.
You understand?
They don't overload where it's not necessary.
So Runa will focus more on the negatives when it comes to players.
I see.
But I think if we focus more on what they can do and make sure that people see that, people, they won't see that.
The weaknesses that,
Do you know Vinicius Junior's weaknesses? You don't know.
I know.
You see him attacking.
I know in one-on-ones. I don't know. Sometimes decision making, when I do switch off, man.
Okay.
I think the one-on-ones.
But do you know Neymar's weakness? But some people, if you look him, you might find maybe he's not defending.
Oh yes, he doesn't.
But you don't see that because he's excelling in what he's doing.
Because everybody else behind him, they're like, go.
Yeah.
We'll do the job.
So focus on what you can do.
Yeah,
so if you play on the right or a winger, and then I realize as a coach, okay, you're not a good dribbler, but maybe you've got speed.
Yes.
So I focus on that.
Yes.
I focus on your crosses.
Yes.
If you improve that, when you come to the village and look at that player, you will see that. Some
of us, you could never see.
Chances of you seeing the negatives are very small.
I was not a good dribbler, but
I was get to good positions
every time.
You understand?
Oh, yes.
So Runar focused more on the negatives, and then we forgot about enhancing what he has as a person. You understand,
bro? Like Chiefs must keep you. Like we shouldn't let Pirates like take you away. And I like the philosophy that, because this guy never used to talk a lot. Slim. This guy never used to talk a lot, bro. Like, hearing him, like, talking like this, him and Ye are the same. Yeah. And then now you sit down with them and, like, the coach philosophy, you sitting there, you're like, dude, why didn't you talk like this when you were young? But, I just, like, I'm glad that you're doing this. And, like, and I know that, a lot of kids are in good hands. And I hope that the parents, they know that. If they don't know, now they should, like, listen to this interview. And I think they'll be comfortable that, you are raising their kids out there. Bafana's playing in 2 months. The World Cup is coming through.
Sure.
How do you see Bafana playing? Last questions before we get chased out of this house.
Yeah.
Like, I think. So how do you see Bafana? I was not impressed with how they played, obviously, like AFCON. And now they played against Panama.
Yeah.
Which was not good. I'm getting worried now, Because I'm like, at the edge where now we need to perform well. At this point, we're supposed to be doing well because the World Cup is there in 2 months.
Sure.
How do you see Bafana playing, bro? Be honest. I mean, first of all, we don't even have a striker. Well, we have strikers, but our striker, our main striker has got only 3 goals in the Premier League so far. How do you see this? Aren't you scared, bro, like that we're going to go out there and embarrass ourselves?
I don't think so. I think we'll do well. I think the coach also is a good man manager. I think he has made Bafana sort of a team.
Yeah.
He has got core of the players who have been there for longer. And most of them, they play in CAF, obviously with Sundowns or Pirates. And they did well in the, not this AFCON, the one that won bronze. You know, and you could see a team that play with more confidence and dominate the game. And obviously the previous AFCON couldn't go. I think we were knocked out in quarterfinal. Quarterfinal, you know. But I believe these games give the coaches information, especially say the Panama game. Right, where can we improve? I believe they will improve. I believe they will improve. I think this game is important because it will give the coaches and the players information. Because sometimes you look very good during preparation phase. Right, and you're gonna play also against top opponents who will analyze you. So if you pick early, it means they will analyze your best. You understand? So it must be this.
Arshasha, you trying to make a river settler. I hear where you're coming from, but I just hope we'll pick at the right time. I
believe so. I believe when we play the first games against Mexico, I think the team will be at the right level in terms of competition. I think
we gotta be. Otherwise, we like we don't want to be embarrassed again.
No.
There's no way.
No.
D, I know you have to go and coach the young ones.
Sure.
Thanks for coming through and sharing your stories with us. You know, it's just amazing that we're having a conversations like this. I can talk to you like this. I can hear you talk like this. You know, I could imagine as a coach out there shouting at the boys. You know, that would be surprising. But, thanks for coming through. And I'm sure that a lot of people have been asking for you guys to come through and, share your stories with us. And, keep on doing the good job that you're doing. And guys, thanks for, supporting us. This show wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for you guys. Shout out to MTN FC for making it possible. And we know that our listeners, our viewers, this show is all about you guys. And you can go on our socials, on Izinja zeGame socials, my socials as well, and mtnfc.co.za where you can win yourself a share of these 10 packages that Take a Lot is going to be giving us, right? And get there. There might be a few questions, a few quizzes there and there and whatever. If you get them right, we might hit you up with a prize. You never know what's in there. Hit us up. Keep on supporting. We're doing the show for you guys. Thanks for the love and the support. We out.